Yo, what is going on, everybody? How are we today? Okay, everything seems to be going right. Cool. So, in addition to this terribly laggy thing, I also want to go ahead and start a new factory of some kind here. This one will probably be more along the lines of like a trading hall. I'm not gonna like pour through the villagers and, you know, refine their trades and things of that nature. That would be way too time intense. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started here. I don't want to get too close to that beacon because an overhang might cut it off. Let's go about here. It's 201. Wow, that's 201. Oh, that's not lined up. No wonder. 67. That's much better. Okay. Literally watching a Jack the Ripper documentary. Yeah, I saw that documentary. That was something. Me personally, I'm not saying I have second thoughts or second, reservations about taking the name all those many, many years ago, but, like, I don't know. It's certainly not a name I would have picked today. But, oh well, what can you do? Okay, how do I want to do this? Copy. And then we flip this way. Fuck. There we go. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Hey, Poncho Hamster. Hey, Ushir. Hey, Iant. Vincent Van Hoof. Yo. In gym class. Thanks for streaming. Okay. Why aren't you working out, though? If you were in gym, shouldn't you be gymming? Huh? Huh? Punk? Nah, I'm kidding. I don't blame you. I would have loved, when I was a kid, to have somebody come along and save me from a boring-ass class. If I could, like, sneak it, or, obviously phones didn't exist when I was a kid, but oh well. 11. 10. Actually, let's copy it from here. Well, good. Maybe your friends can be saved from the terror of Gem 2. Maybe. Okay. I'm liking that. Oh, you already gemmed. Ah, gotcha. An airport. Well, honestly, if I weren't already making, the trading hall thing, airport wouldn't be too far off the mark. Copy. Flip. Well, thank you for calling me an inspiration, though. I really like hearing those types of words of praise. Like, it's just a Minecraft build. At the end of the day, I hate to say this, it is just a Minecraft build, but people like it enough, so what can you do? But yeah, that about that Jack the Ripper documentary, like, this is kind of a theory. After having watched it, I get the feeling that there were more than just one person. There was definitely some copycat killing going on in those cases. Whether or not what that police officer said, that they had the suspect or the person they suspected, they had him in an insane asylum or whatever. Whether or not that's true, who the hell knows? It's interesting. It is really interesting. If that was the truth, then ironically they had, they had such a famous historical figure just kind of on the down low, and his reputation kind of just festered, you know? He just garnered more and more and more fame, more and more panic. But, like, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like that's a bit of a faux pas on the police's part. If they genuinely had or knew of the real Jack the Ripper, they just kind of let him immortalize in people's minds, you know? What am I eating? I was eating ice from my drink. So yeah, I don't know. It rubs you the wrong way. Maybe that wasn't the smartest option. Oh. Hey, Eric Shio. Thanks for subbing, man. I'm going to have to get into the habit of watching for those. I haven't been very good at doing that. But yeah, it just strikes me as weird how the Jack the Ripper case was handled. But I don't know. I get the feeling that not only were there copycat killings going on, whoever it was, or whoever at least was like the first, I don't know, the first 2 or so people, they had an intimate knowledge of how the police patrolled and, you know, the situation at night. And it just kind of makes me go, well, who was helping him, you know? There's no way that someone like that was completely 100% on their own. Either they were a former police officer or they just got really, 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 really lucky on multiple occasions. And that, I don't know, I can't buy that. You know, it's like health insurance. I can't buy that. Like, it's just unfortunate that it was allowed to get to the fever pitch that it was allowed to get to, you know? There's just so much about the Jack the Ripper case that I don't feel was handled especially well. But hey, what can you do? It was over 100 years ago. Oh well. So yeah, what else has been going on? And yeah, let me know's videos. He's got some pretty good ones. I saw the it got recommended to me, The Hunt for DB Cooper. And like, I know he's that dude who parachuted out of an airplane after a bank heist and then vanished into thin air. And I just find that's bizarre too. But not for the same reason as the Jack the Ripper case. It's more of a, I think they just couldn't find whatever remained of him. He died, very likely. I find it very hard to believe that he didn't bite it. But who knows? Maybe he did make the perfect getaway or whatever. Hard to say. With shit like this, it's so hard to say who succeeded, who skunked the police. Like, couldn't ever tell you. I know in other sort of historical contexts, the person or people who shot Lee Harvey Oswald got off rather light. And they were never really pinned the way they should have been. So I don't know. History's got all sorts of crazy incidences like that. But oh well, what can you do? Now then, let's see. We want little stalls. Roughly how long is this? That's 15. So I can do an every other kind of thing and give them cramped little living quarters. I think every other... Yeah, every 2 is much better. Yeah, okay. Yeah, villagers aren't people, why not? I'll make a prototype stall system here. Like horses. These ain't people. Okay, yeah, that works. And they got a little station, and then they can stand here forever. Cool. Going to go. Okay, well, you have a good day too, Ashir. Thanks for coming out, man. Was my old Space Valkyria save like this? Like this in the server? No. Of course not. I was never able to get this far on the server itself. Would have been nice, but at the same time it would have taken easily upwards of like 2 or 3 years to get all the stuff that I've gotten. Just because, well, you'll see in the short that I'm going to release this week, you'll be able to understand like just how much I've done, but at the same time how large of an area it is and how much there is left to do. It's just absurd. So yeah. Oh, I see. Hey, TX Fires. Or Fears. Sorry for being late. Don't worry about it, man. I might have to change it back to like an earlier time or a different time. Perhaps a later time, actually, I'm thinking. Because it's just getting to the point where like people aren't able to watch, and it's just like, I could just do it privately then, and that would be, I don't know, I think people would kind of want to see it. There we go. Smack him out of there. And then a nice floor system. So I can't really alter the floor here. Though maybe I could raise it up a block so that I can have my own floor pattern on top. Yeah, I think that'll... Actually, let's move it up 2. And then... yeah, make it meet the ground a little bit. Give it a nice little ring, or a sort of like a trim. Make this stack 60. Okay, 66. Cool. What am I doing today? I am making a trading hall for villagers. This has been one of those projects that I wasn't really sure I wanted to make a trading hall, but why not? I do not know how to, Poncho Hamster. Google Play Money. Can you donate through like PayPal or something? Because if you can do PayPal, you should be able to use... Or when I say PayPal, I mean it'll ask you when you super chat what your method of payment is. And if you can select PayPal, then you should have the option to select Google Play Money, I think. Although that may be a separate system entirely. I'm not really sure how Google Play works. TBH. So I don't know. Google the problem. See if a good solution presents itself. It may not. Like, this may not be a thing that people do, and not often enough to ask about. So who knows? But thank you for the consideration at the very least. F. Can't do it that way? Well, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Just don't worry about it, that's all. The $1 from Google Rewards, you wanted to give that to me. Well, thank you. Oh, if they remove the option. Well, if Google got rid of it, there ain't nothing we can do about it, so. It's okay, though. Let's see now, 66. Hey, Herm. Feels like it's been a while since you've been here. Yeah, it has been. Did you get my message on Discord, Herm? About that thing I want help with? Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, Stulio30, how are you? Clicking ASMR. Happy to do that, maybe in later today. Yeah, that would be preferable, because I gotta post a short tomorrow. And so it'll be preferable to get it out of the way soon. Oh, hey, Super Jean. What about me? I'm just chilling out, doing my thing. Living life and loving large. Or is that living large and loving life? I don't know. Either way, one of these days I will have to be surgically removed from my gamer chair. So, you know, one of those statements is probably true. Hey, Super Jean Knot, thank you so much, man. You guys, I tell you, like, it would bring a tear to my eye if I weren't so manly. Nah, I'm kidding. There's nothing manly about me, are you kidding me? Okay, give it a nice little trim around the edge. Say FitMC's funny line, he'll send you 1 nanogram of air. FitMC's funny line. Okay, let me try to remember what that is. Let's see. Drat, you long arm fit. Was that not the line? Volfeed, what? Did you find an old name you weren't supposed to, Poncho Hamster? I would have said drat, you long arm fat, but that's not Fit's name, so it wouldn't have made sense. But I did want to parody a funny line. Parody a funny line of Fit MC. You know what? I'm gonna fucking do that. I'm gonna ask him, can I do just a minor voice cameo? Can I do the Fit MC intro for you one day, just like out of the blue? No mention of it, just like see if people notice in one of his videos, if people like piece it together. Yeah, Herm, when will you upload the newest 2B2T SMP video? Oh my god. We just need to know more about 2B2T SMP. And how many happy people are included. Tips for building. Okay. Well, like with what I'm doing here, you want to kind of get a sort of rough outline or a footprint, which is what this is. This is the footprint of the building in question. It's probably going to be stacked on top, you know, sort of like how there's a singular cell and then it's just multiplied up and up, because this is a factory, so it doesn't have to be that unique. But you want a sort of general footprint, sort of lay out your overall design or shape, and then you want to see it, you want to sort of, you know, innovate to it, add on to it. Don't just leave it as a boring, you know, building. Like, give it detail, which is mostly what I'm doing here. Actually, I think I may go up one block more. And then I'll sort out the stalls. Stack uno. There we go. Get out of here. What the? I guess I didn't hit him hard enough. Oh. Well, thank you, Stulio. Just subscribe. Thanks, man. Okay. I'm gonna have to redesign these stalls for where the villagers will sit. Actually, okay, I got a better idea for a base of the building. There, stack one. Cool. And then select all this and convert it. So replace quartz pillars with obsidian. So that way it sort of has this look to it. And then this base here, I'll use obsidian just because it's easy to see. Okay, so that gives us what, like four blocks height. Yeah, that'll do. Doesn't have to be anything too fancy. And then we want to replace air with obsidian. Cover up the bottom there. It unfortunately makes it pitch black in the center, but we can very easily fix that. I was going to put a sea lantern inscribed pattern in the obsidian there. You have to beat the dragon at one point. Oh yeah, you guys ought to, you and the rest of the guardsmen ought to respawn the dragon and kill it that way. Or show how to glitch it, one of the two. I don't know if the paper devs have fully patched glitching the dragon or not. Might be doable, I don't know. It would be a fun little thing to show off. Brutal, yeah, it probably would be brutal, but, you know, try your best. Thanks for the tips. Okay. You're going to build your own. Well, hey, you know, good luck, Stulio. I warn you, it will take you years. So don't get distracted or discouraged if it doesn't immediately turn out the way you think it should. It's not easy to just make a thing and that be the end of it. There's a lot of finer detail work and effort you've got to put into it. So beware. You will have your patience tested. It ain't easy being green. There we go. There. First stalls are looking much better. Okay. You know, he has a back door on 2B2T. You think you could still... probably not. I'm fairly certain that any back doors that exist on 2B2T are not for anybody other than whoever it was that helped create them, you know? Your average person will never have access to something like a back door. Come on, copy, where are you? And really, you know, as played up and talked about as back doors are, they're really not that common. Like, to the point where they're only worth talking about if you actively know one is underway. If it isn't, you know, there ain't much point to it. It doesn't accomplish anything. Like, yes, in the past there have been backdoors, sure, but as long as there currently isn't one, and believe me, you don't want there to be. You never want there to be a currently available backdoor. Nobody wants that. Nobody smart wants that. So, you know, you just kind of have to be like, okay, well, whoops. It's a cool concept, like, what if I got a backdoor? But it's not realistic. Like, don't build your hopes on a backdoor. Build your hopes on, like, an exploit, like a dupe. Or finding a stash. You know, those are far more realistic expectations to have. That's the kind of thing that you can actually make use of that will, in some way, pay off. You know? Anything else is just kind of a pipe dream, I hate to say. Top 10 moments where burning books saved the world. I wouldn't know of any. I'm pretty sure book burning in any way, shape, or form is not going to save anything. In fact, you're kind of probably destroying the world, or somebody's world. So no, I don't recommend that. It's on a faction server, so you're okay. Well, I mean, if you backdoor some other server, that's one thing. Even then, that's really not that realistic because you got to know what you're doing, and you got to be able to hide it to where the people in charge can't find it. Like, it's just so many hoops you got to jump through. I don't know. Did I ever meet Tristan? Oh yeah, Tristan stayed at the original Valkyria. And the original Space Valkyria. Tristan and I do have a fair bit of history. He wasn't always as bad as he's been portrayed. And he is as bad as he has been portrayed. He just wasn't always that way. When he was in high school, he was a nice kid. There's something about meeting Rocky Breslow. Something about Clyde that just brought out the worst in Tristan. And I couldn't tell you what that really is other than malicious mischief. Like, around the time they started picking on Ormonger is when it began to really get out of hand. And I couldn't tell you... I guess a lack of oversight, maybe. Two teens who knew way too much about, like, data and archives or server structure, and just have too much time on their hands and the ability to, like, make other people's lives miserable. That's really, like, the best way I can describe it. Just the next thing you know, malicious mischief occurs. And it's such a shame. Because, like, people like Tristan, if they are well-adjusted, and Tristan is not well-adjusted, they can be nice people, they can be good friends, they can be great assets, they can be pillars of their community. And like, I really hate to talk about this part, but it's integral to understanding why people like Tristan go bad. In 2016, Tristan's father passed away very suddenly in a plane accident. And the two of them were very, very close. And you can't blame them. You know, anyone losing anybody, is, especially a close family member, is going to, you know, really hurt you. And from that point forward, he just became more and more and more of an asshole. And like, my heart goes out to anyone in that situation, but at the same time, like, you can't use that to justify actions, you know, doxing people, things of that nature. Like, it's terrible, but at the same time, you know, loss of a family member does not give you a pass. You know, I can't go out and commit a crime if my mother dies. Like, duh. That's, it's just one of those things, you know. And tie that in with the fact that Tristan, like Pop Bob before him, became very backstab happy. Places that were once safe in his care no longer were safe in his care. So, it's just one of those things. No, Space Valk 1 was not built around a bedrock block. Space Valk 1 was built, and then Pyrobyte gave me a bedrock block. And I was like, sweet, I know exactly where to put this. Because it, you know, made the whole base cooler, that there was a sort of central foundation to what would otherwise have been flimsy blocks hanging out over the void. It made it seem more permanent. Which is ironic as hell, because the bedrock piece in question did not last even... No, but it lasted a little more than a year. That was it. Like, by the end of that first year, Space Valk 1 had been so bombarded, and then the Russia War happened. There just wasn't... There was no hope for an item like that, and for a build so terribly close to spawn. Like, that's just one of those... that's a part of the server you learn to get used to. Like, building near spawn has its excitement, and it has its downsides, you know? And the worst part is about Space Valk is that while if I could go back and do it all over again, I would probably go out an additional 4 or 5 kilometers, it wouldn't have made a difference, ultimately. Because, like, yeah, I could maybe have prepared for the Tell at A exploit. Maybe. And I could probably have, like, made better use of the inf blocks and not invited some people who would ultimately leak and betray the group and ultimately put Space Valk 1 in danger. Yeah, okay, maybe I could do a lot of that differently. But the end result would have been the same. The Russia War would have still happened, and there would still have been a bum rush to the end because of 1.9. And what can you do? Whoops. Oh shit, I've still got speed, no wonder. Okay. Effect. Give Jack the strength of Hercules for 1 billion seconds. Okay, 1 million seconds. And we'll make it strength level 100. That way I can shoot them into oblivion. I love that. I love being able to just one-shot Enderman. So yeah, any other cool shit? What was the message exploit? The wiki doesn't explain. Oh, okay. Well, shit. Put that on the wiki. That ought to be on there. That was a huge thing. So the tell at A exploit was this. At A, and then you would put a modifier on it. So it would be dx equals, and then you'd put like some distance, okay? And then you would dy equals 255. Or no, 64. Because 64 is sea level. And then you would do dz equals, I don't know, another 1,000. Okay, cool. Right. And so you'd write your message. Whoops. Okay. So what this is saying is you are whispering a message, which is tell, and you could only use at A with tell. I don't believe you could do message. Or wait, no, you could. Okay. Well, we used tell back in the day just because it was easier to write. But you would say your message, and it would just be something innocuous like hi. Really simple. And you're specifying a coordinate range. And when you tell a message to someone in that range, well, you know now that player is in that area. So it's no trouble to whittle down, after only 2 or 3 messages, to whittle down somebody's exact coordinates. And as a result, you could compromise base after base after base, and it was no trouble to just, you knew everything now. Like, nothing, it was a lot like an early version of no-coms. Nothing was suddenly off limits to you, where, previously everything would be off limits to a degree. Suddenly you could just know everything you needed to know. Just like that. And that's the sort of thing that would really, just destroy the server. Because being able to know where people's bases are without having to do any hard work, I mean, that's literally, like, it got the server shut down for 2 days, I want to say, back in 2015. And it was nuts. Like, you were not safe no matter where you went or what you did. If you were online, you could be targeted. And yeah, that is exactly what happened in many cases. So, exploits like that come and go. No-com is really not that new, per se. It was new how they did it, but, like, the impact, the far-reaching consequences, like, we've had things just as bad like that before. It was just another day, another 2B2T experience. Very sad, but you learn to make do with things like that, So yeah, just very unfortunate. If I'm interested, one of the 2B2T subreddit admins is Quasar. He's Swedish and does stuff with PCs. Housemaster. Oh yeah, he's a friend of House's, no wonder. You found a Twitter profile under the same name that had the name Marcus Engvall. That is not Housemaster. But no, that is not common knowledge. Interestingly enough, the nerds have already doxed Housemaster. They doxed him a while ago. So, oh well, rip. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what it is. It made the rounds there for a while. But who Housemaster is really not important. Like, from what I understand, he really genuinely doesn't want anything to do with the server any longer. I can't much blame him, to be honest. Like, Much shit as they've put him through. Mm. Oh. There we go. All right, cool. Now we have a tileable, intact building that's even bright enough on the inside. I gotta cut a hole into it, however. This is what, 67 long again? Kind of want to make the hole in the dead center, obviously. 67. So that is 66 plus 1. So that's 33. So the 34th block is the middle. Right there's 34. Cool. So this is the dead center of the build. Should put that there for now. Okay. Yeah, that works. And then we'll put some staircase. Get out of here. Some sort of means of getting up to the next floor. I love how it looks. Ain't this pretty? Okay. Now, I do want to use some form of glass pane. Yeah, I'm partial to the light blue, why not? Not for the villagers' stalls, but maybe like right here. Yeah, something like that. Makes it seem a little more open and inviting, you know? And then bust this open as well. There we go. Oh, you gotta go now. Okay. You have a test from history. Okay, well, you take care, Miss Piscus. You take care, man. George Bush 420. Yeah, he's the dude who currently owns 2B2T. At least we think. He does try to somewhat keep his identity a secret. But let's just say there's no real keeping secrets on or around 2B2T. How in the hell did you get in here? Die. 2B2T has a habit of things you think that should be secret have a nasty habit of not staying secret. I always find that funny to hear or watch people go, oh my god, how did my such and such get compromised? Like, it's supposed to not be possible to do this. But in reality, they're just ignorant as to the true nature of it. There we go. I like that. And they all learn the hard way, sooner or later. Everybody learns the hard way, sooner or later. So yeah, what's some lessons that 2B2T has taught me? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's a valuable one. People you think may be trying to help you may not be. That's another good one. You never quite know who you're talking to. That's a valuable one. Be careful what you share with others. It has a nasty way of always coming back to hurt you if you aren't careful. Oh. Better you learn the lesson of trust in a place like 2B2T where you lose everything, but that it doesn't spill out into real life. You know, learning the lesson of loss on 2B2T is probably a much better place than in real life. Is George doxxed? I think he is. I don't know George. I couldn't tell you for sure. But I do know that House is doxxed. His dox is nothing new. God, they doxed him way back in like 2012, I want to say. 3. Okay, cool. It's mostly because people like Pop Bob are, well, people like Pop Bob. They tend to be the ones to do shit like that. I'll give you 2 guesses why. So it's just an annoyance, but like it's just something you kind of have to learn to deal with, I guess. The pestilence of a Pop Bob or a Pop Bob figure who will go out of his way to micromanage and know everything about you just to fuck with you. Because I think that's also part of the reason why Ben Jojo quit. When Ben Jojo was a member of staff for a very, very brief period of time. He was a coder for House. And then Pop Bob basically scared him off. And he also got busy with other things. But yeah, you don't make something for House and not catch Pop Bob's attention. I don't know about today. I don't know if he's interested now, but back in the day, that was how it was. If you had any coding skill of any kind, Pop Bob wanted to know your location. Okay. It's looking good. Now then, is this a straight line to there? Yes, it is. Come to think of it, it might be a better idea to copy from this angle. Okay, from that wall to this wall. Okay. So we got a back set of stairs. And then maybe do another set here. Yeah, just like that. Alright, cool. And then get that. When's the world download going to be available? Ooh, buddy. It's going to be a long while. I hate to say this, like, this place is so massive. I wish I could give you just, like, an immediate, you know, date and time, but there's just so much to do here, it's unreal. So, you know, we're looking at, like, next year. Like, easily late next year. Alright, cool. And then I'll use those 2 central ones for upper stairs. Alright. I know that's really not something people want to hear, that it's going to take way, way longer than anticipated, but like, yeah. One, two, three, four. Paste without air. Okay. And then I can just delete these stairs that don't belong. What did Jared do to my 1.10 stash? You mentioned after I killed him with Rusher. 1.10 stash. Was that at the lands? I'm trying to think what 1.10 stash he's referring to. I couldn't tell you. That doesn't ring any bells is the problem. I will say that if that stash at the lands has not yet been found, then obviously that's out there. I would imagine by now someone's found it. I don't know. New chunks is still a thing, right? So yeah, it should technically be findable. Obviously I have coords, but I'm not going to tell anyone. I want to see if somebody can find it all on their own. Should be pretty cool if somebody does, you know, like somebody posts about it on the Reddit if they do happen to find it. It would be interesting, methinks. Yeah, it's a big trading spot. Yeah, Omal quit because of docks, right, exactly. Yeah, it's going to have every major trade available to it. And the building is mostly large and empty for show, kind of. It's really more of a, hey, you get the iron from the farm, and you get the vegetables, and like, you come here, sell it at market, you know, get yourself a nice little bonus, trade or buy for whatever you want, go from there. Whoops. Things like that. 10. Just check something real fast. All right, good. All right, cool. So yeah, am I the guy that had the lands and fought the camping rusher and Jared there? Yeah, that was me. August the 30th, 2016. I remember it like it was yesterday. My parents were yelling at me, take out the trash, take out the trash. Why the hell aren't you taking out the trash? Rah, 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 rah. And I was locked in a life or death match with Wild X. And like, because of lag, I was able to juke and jive just enough to keep him from killing me. And then I got him to crystal himself. And that was the end of the camping rusher. Because, like, that was right around the time Sun Wukong discovered that he could lag the server using the giant redstone, contraptions. And he made it a point that whenever the Camping Rusher was on, to lag the server to like 1 TPS. Or 2 TPS or something. And so Jared was busy trying to show Rusher around the base. Or the remnants of the base that he'd blown up earlier that year. And I was like, oh hell no, you're not going to turn my base into a former video. Or my former base into a YouTube video. And I was like, swiggity swooty, I'm crystalling that booty. And yeah, it was over in just the blink of an eye. You can see me on my main in Rusher's video doing it too. It's just like, it takes less than 5 seconds and it's all over. Which is really anticlimactic compared to the struggle with Wild X that happened right after that. Because Frickin', bless poor Frickin', he was riding a donkey. And this is like back when entity speed hacking was still kind of semi-private. So I think only Forge Hacks really had entity speed hacking. And so Frickin' was on a donkey while everybody else was just running around trying to place obsidian and crystal each other. And I got lucky. Frickin' moved away at just the right moment, and I was able to place a crystal on a spare piece of obsidian and kill Rusher and Jared. But Wild X ran off somewhere to go deal with Frickin', and then Frickin' was trying to cock block the obsidian using his donkey. And it was hilarious. And then eventually, the donkey got killed. And yeah, I mean, that's the downside of bringing a donkey to a crystal fight. It's not going to last long. But shortly after doing so, it ended up being a lag battle because he was lagging so terribly. He could crystal me faster than I could eat an apple to recover. And so I was like, I got to run away. I can't just sit here. I'm going to get, wrecked. And I'll never forget this. I ended up pillaring up using the only thing I had, which was obsidian, to try to buy time to eat through the lag, because it didn't take any time at all for him to place a crystal and detonate it. The server would be much quicker to accept that action than it would be to accept me eating food in 1.5 TPS or something. Of course I know it by heart. I lived through it. It was harrowing. It was fun. It was thrilling. I really liked that. It was so cool. But like everything, happens way too fast, and the next thing you know, it's over. So, oh well. But it did give me a taste of Crystal PvP. And maybe not necessarily in that may not have been a good thing. I really don't know. I was never good at Crystal PvP though. Oh no. Wait, how did this segment... Interesting. I was worried I had a whole thing misaligned. There we go. So yeah, funny enough, that was the very first piece of mending armor. The armor I got from Jared and Rusher was the very first piece of mending gear that I had on my main. Because mending was a pain in the ass to get back in the day. You had to basically get lucky and get a villager who offered it. Because you didn't have it like today with just cycling through bookshelves, or no, lecterns, that's it. Nowadays, you can just set a lectern at the feet of a villager and he'll, you know, choose his librarian thing, and then you can just cycle through it over and over till you get the enchanted book that you want. But at that time, you just had to get really lucky and have a villager spawn as a librarian, and you would that was the only way to get mending. And one of the really annoying parts of that was it was time consuming and you had to have a villager trade set up. Well, at the lands, of course everything was destroyed, so I didn't have that. I wasn't lucky enough to be villager flush. You know, I had all my shit destroyed at the lands, you see. So it ended up being that there was it was difficult to get the newest, hottest armor. And so I just basically got it for free from Wild X and the Camping Rusher. Okay. Okay, cool. That's the center. So that was cool. I only ended up being fortunate enough to be able to crystal the Camping Rusher because of the efforts of Tumorous. For those of you who remember who Tumorous was. Tumor gave me he gave me gas tears. I didn't have any. And obviously you needed those to be able to make end crystals. And so because Tumorous gave me gas tears, I was able to cobble together enough items to be able to crystal Rusher. And Jared. Oh, so yeah, that was that. Don't I miss the Rusher era? Causing chaos? Maybe kinda, sorta. It's that's a tough sell. Do I really miss an era in which getting online was spotty at best, fraught with problems? I don't know. That is a tough question to answer. Part of me wants to say, yeah, I do actually miss that. Part of me doesn't. I miss 2017 more than anything else. Or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Yeah, it's getting there. Oh. Oh, this isn't, that's not right at all. I'm gonna have to go in and clean out the inside. There we go. See what I can do to change this. Set that to obsidian. Set this to air. There we are. Okay, and then clear off this topmost level. Oh, whoa, whoa. Wrong edge. Do I know anything about the new boat dupe that got leaked? I don't know anything about it. First time you seeing me live. Really like your build. Make you like building design inspired by space. Okay, well, good. Subbed you like I'll call my video. Okay, well, good. I'm glad you like it. I try to sort of make this the predominant atmosphere. I've been called the Bob Ross of Minecraft a bit. I don't know that that's accurate, but hey, you know, if you like it, you like it. Okay. But thank you so much for stopping by. Oh god, your name flew away. Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by, Valentino Abed. Do I prefer 1.8 or 1.9 plus PvP? I don't prefer PvP at all. So I don't really care. PvP was never my thing. Let me make sure I'm getting this from the right angle. But yeah, PvP has always just been kind of whatever to me. It's never held that much, I don't know, glory. You kill someone and they come back, you know? Like, that doesn't change anything. I only ever really PvP'd with one person. And, in that instance, it mattered. But in no other instance did PvPing somebody matter. That was like an oddity, a rare exception to the rule. Oh. Fall to your death. This is another interesting little... I saw this tunnel design and fell in love with it, so I wanted to use it for something, but I never really found a use for it. At least not inside Space Valve. I don't know. I might adapt that style for something later. Now then. Oh, over here. Got to go up one more. There we go. I think that's more or less where it should be. And then I can put the slab lining here. Like that. Okay, so this is a top and a bottom side. Okay. Yeah, I can't do the this light pillar here in the middle portion, so it'll just have to be without. So Something about it does... well, it is kind of a copy of the bottom, so yeah, that works. Whatever. It's good. Okay, so it doesn't need a roof because it's basically... Okay. I'm gonna have to carve out the bottom again. Now then. I could use this as a hallway? Yeah, I guess I could. Problem is, there just aren't any long hallways. You know, everything's a building. Or a, you know, an indoor thing, sure, but nothing with super long hallways in it. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, so we got our stairs here, our stairs here. Okay. You decided that you can procrastinate a little longer, like reading for about 2 hours. About prehistoric humans is boring. Yeah. A subject like that does require a fair bit of pre-interest. If you're not already interested, reading about it's not going to make you any more interested. It's the sad news of it. But hey, you know, prehistoric humans aren't that bad. I don't know that they present the material in like a fun or interesting way. That's entirely up to whoever wrote the text. I guess you're reading from a textbook, I don't know. But hey, I wouldn't mind seeing prehistoric human tribes from like a distance, you know. I wouldn't dare want to meet them or anything. They probably wouldn't be worth... You wouldn't be able to really communicate with them all that well, and they wouldn't be that fun. It would just be interesting to see their habits in person. So yeah, cool stuff. Okay. So for the topmost layer, I think I might have to make a brand new design for that just because it's so much different. More of a math person. History doesn't really... Yeah. History doesn't do it for you, I understand. Conversely, I'm less of a math person and more of a history person. But hey, you know, history you can relate to will always be more valuable and more interesting than just people who lived hundreds slash thousands of years ago and have no relation or very little relation to you, and as a result, you know, what's the value? What's the point? What do I do with this? Like, I don't really care that much. That is a completely understandable position to have. Because, like, my father is so into the Civil War, and that's fine. I mean, you can be into whatever you want, but at the same time, he wanted to, we did once upon a time, we lived semi-close to Shiloh. And Shiloh has a national park in it, which is, you know, a Civil War site. Okay, cool. That's nice. He dragged me to that as a kid 3 or 4 times, and it took until I was basically almost a teen for him to really get it that I was not interested. I didn't want to go trudging around a park, especially not in the heat of the summer. Maybe in spring or in mid-fall when it's more temperate. But, like, even then, you know, I'd rather be doing something else. So, yeah, you know, you just don't always have that connection to a historical something or another that other people do. That's okay. Like, don't feel bad. You probably still have to do well in school, you know. Can't slack off learning about that War of 1812. But you can safely forget shit like that when you are out of school, so don't feel bad. Till then, you will kind of just have to deal with it. Alright, you take care, El Cayman. Mike and Super Jean not love history. Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. Like, some people like it, some people don't. I do like, you know, more hard science-y things, like chemistry, like biology, like, you know, things of that nature. There's, of course, you know, lots of interesting history surrounding those fields. So you can't ever really truly escape it. But at the same time, you know, maybe more things like political history. Because really, history is such a catch-all term. Like, what kind of history are we referring to? You know. I'm of the opinion that history in a societal context is less interesting than history in a personal context. Like, why does 2B2T catch people's thoughts? Like, why is it popular? Because it's a personal history. It's a history that you don't see or hear a whole lot of. You're exposed to historical or societal history all the time. But history in a personal context, that's rare. And in a video game, that's even rarer because video games are hardly ever static. But 2B2T has kind of stuck out, you know? 2B2T is the nugget of gold where there just really isn't a nugget of gold before it, you know? Maybe things like MMOs. MMOs have, especially like World of Warcraft and MapleStory, those have some history to them. But inevitably, those services come to an end. Not that Minecraft won't either, just that... I don't know. I think it's also the environment. Like, social media and all the other things that exist concurrently with Minecraft, that kind of adds to it, making it more mysterious, you know, more accessible. Funny, it's more mysterious and it's more accessible. Normally those two things are mutually exclusive. Something accessible cannot be mysterious, but at the same time, it's funny how it do be that way. Something you can touch is not always going to be that interesting. Because it's mundane, it's something you can touch, it's something you have. But who knows, maybe something that another person put there, and you don't know why. You know, there's something to that. There's always something to having access to someone else's perspective. That's the beauty of history. There we go. And then maybe just have this upper area, instead of it being more trading hall, just have it be... Well, it can't be a garden because it's got to be a factory. It's got to have a factory-esque feel to it. And nothing says factory quite like that slanted roof over there. I don't know why, it just does. Let's give it a one-way slanted roof. Or maybe, no, maybe a triple segmented Slanted roof. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, for me it depends on what type of history it is. Yeah, I agree. Sea ale. Okay. Well, the World Wars in Russia in about 1920 to 1991 range, fun to read about. Yeah, I think that's because it's more immediate, and a lot of the changes that occurred in that era, you know, we still kind of feel those today. So that history has a more immediate relevance. What the? Oh. I tried to move as I copied. But, I don't know. If it's too old, too far, too long ago, it gets really hard to care. Undo. Stack. So yeah, that is the curse of history. It will be inevitably overlooked or demeaned simply because of its distance in time and space. If it ain't relevant, people don't care. But, you know, what can you do? Okay. That certainly gives it an interesting look. It's more factory-like. Let's make some parts offset like so. And then I can make little lights to step it down. Helps add to the futurism, I find, that if you add little lights needlessly. Or, conversely, you can move all this up one. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Really sells it. And then flip it and do it on the other side. Paste without air. And there you go. Okay. And then I guess I can just repeat it. Because it's really all about repeating patterns, just making it seem interesting. Interesting repetition of pattern will always catch the eye better than anything else. Because it not only catches the eye, it keeps you there. keeps you looking. Okay. Wouldn't make sense to have this tilted a different way. Whoops. Yeah, you're right, Stone Cold Kill. You couldn't have said it better myself. As you get older, you appreciate history. That you do. I think that was kind of the curse that a lot of ancient fags fell into without realizing. A lot of them joined in their high school years, and they never really appreciated 2B2T for what it was. To be fair, you know, nobody understood that it was going to become this phenomenon. But a lot of them don't really remember a whole lot from that time. They were too young. Or they never really properly cared. And in a way, I kind of got lucky, because I was already in my early 20s by the time I joined. And so I did kind of understood, just barely, in the beginning. I could kind of understand how it was valuable. But it was still too young. The server was too young for us to have any real meaningful history yet. And yeah, it just kind of... It took time, but over time, you learn to appreciate what other people have done. It's not as simple as, oh, well, this person placed this block over there. Like, knowing why, what they tried to do, what they wanted, you really can only appreciate that when you're older. Okay, cool. Cool. Let me check each floor to be sure it's uniform. All right. Seems to meet my rigid standards of quality. That was a joke. Don't everybody laugh at once. Okay, and... I could make it meet very similarly in the center here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Can't procrastinate any longer. Okay, well, you take care, Massapithecus. Don't procrastinate. That's bad for you. And all that jazz. Oh, hello, Antonym? Or Anonym. Howdy. What's my next idea to build after I finish Space Falcon? Am I taking YouTube as a job? Yeah, I'm trying to take it as a job now. But the next build after Space Valk will be the original Space Valk. After this one, the one I'm currently doing. Then I'm going to fix up the original and get it into a semi-decent shape. Because I was never able to finish that one, and I really, really wanted to. Which was really a shame. But hey, you know. It's the way life is on the oldest Anarchy server in Minceraft. speaking of Mince Raft, is that even still in the game? That was an old typo that Notch intentionally left as a splash text years ago. And it's incredibly rare. It has like a 1 in... God, I don't even know. I think 1 in like 1,200 chance of appearing or some shit. It may not be quite that bad, but yeah. Haha. Just have it go like this. One in 10,000. Wow, it's even more restrictive than I thought. I've actually gotten that splash text before. Oh, 10 is too long. So I guess it's 8. Damn, I had no idea it had been that restrictive. It's still in the game, right? Oh, it's removed. Of course, yeah, they removed everything Notch has ever done, so that's not too shocking. It's disappointing, but it's not too shocking. I don't know why I'm disappointed in Microsoft Jang. I shouldn't be. I should know better than to be disappointed in Microsoft Jang. Micro Jang? I don't know. What's the best way to refer to them now? Microsoft's Mojang? Because Mojang means gadget. So they're Microsoft's money-making gadget now. Favorite year on 2B2T? Oh, 2012. It's my favorite because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have any... There were no stakes with anything. I didn't have hardly any enemies. Conversely, I also didn't have hardly any friends. But it was enough that I could just sort of screw around and enjoy myself. I didn't yet really have any good building skills. And so nobody knew me. It was, it's about as far away from today as you can possibly get. There were not as many hacks or exploits, even though in the coming years there would be many, 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 many different exploits. But we wouldn't know that for a long time. And just things like that, like, if only we could have known. One of my favorite things is, what if I could go back in time, but instead of, or obviously I'd go back to like 2012 or something. What would I do different? And I'm like, oh my god, just the sheer number of things I could do. Oh, it would be amazing. The ability to fuck with people would be unreal. It would be unparalleled. Mostly just because nobody would know who I am, but I would know so much about them. It would be just downright alarming in many cases. But it would also be amusing. So I don't know. Kind of torn. So for example, I could show up to places like Camtown and just be like, yeah, I was invited. And everybody would be like, no, you weren't invited. Who are you? And I'd be able to, I'd be able to, cuck all the events that led up to, like, various back doors. Ooh, I could really ruin some people's days. Not with the back doors, but by preventing them. That would be the fun part. Because, like, there'd be people who'd be like, how the fuck did you know I'd plan on doing this? I would never, of course, tell them how. But God, it would be funny. Just be like, oh, I just knew. Or your friends, yeah, your friends, you know, the people you let in on the secret, let me in on the secret, and whoopsie doozy, I guess that was an accident, huh? Well, now that you know, I guess you have to cut me in. And if they cut me out, you know, well, they wouldn't, but yeah. It would just be funny to see people like Tristan Squirm and Pop Bob and others who would expect their big bad plans to remain secret, but that I could then bust wide open. That would really be more entertaining than anything else. But, ah well. Let's open this bad boy up. Okay, so this is, unfortunately, on a staircase, and I don't like that. I do not like that, Sam, I ain't. I do not like stairs on my taint. I don't know. I'm no Dr. Seuss. Whoa. Okay, Fit would still be a teacher. I don't know about that, honestly. I don't know that I'd have any power to change that. Because that's an outside of 2B2T real-life decision that Fit made. That subsequently has nothing to do with me. So, I probably wouldn't be able to stop the Russia war. Because, again, that was an outside decision made by Russia. Not really the sort of thing one could do anything about. Because you had people like, what was his name? James Russell's, who would try to get the big websites like Shotgun, or what was it, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, and Motherboard, and other places like that, trying to get them to notice 2B2T. And realistically, I would never be able to stop people like James Russell's from getting 2B2T noticed. Because obviously it worked. So there wouldn't be anything I could do to stop that, because he would like submit, you know, to Rock, Paper, Shotgun and other things. He would do that whether someone told him to or not. There really would not have been any way to stop him. So that means the Russia war would have been unavoidable. So even if I did know everything that I know and I went back to 2012, realistically, all I'd be able to do is just screw around with people and stop more minor events. But major events, probably not. Anything that involves outside, you know, assistance, personal volition, you know. Like, would I be able to stop the likes of Jared from doxing people? No, obviously not. Even though I know much more about, you know, about Jared, about the people that he may dox or whatever. I wouldn't be able to stop him from being a mad, teenager. There'd be no way to meaningfully stop some events. Like, that would just be the harsh truth you'd have to accept. If you did go back in time, some things are still unavoidable. But hey, it's just a game theory. Something is off about this corner. Oh well. Okay, cool. So now the inside is pretty well sculpted. Whoops. There we go. So now, do some on the outside. I do know this. I would probably tell people like Pyrobite to not take 2B2T so seriously. Because I think that was really kind of the thing that got him. I don't know. That may also be a lost cause. So who's to say? Nope, still not enough. Oh, come on. 18. There we go. Now, as for this part, not this. Just put a block of quartz there. Oh. Ooh, actually, could put a little tiny window up here. I might screw around with that idea later, I don't know. Aha. Actually, I think just having it grow out of the... That looks better. Instead of having a quartz block here. Too lazy to place that many blocks. Nope. 9. Whew, okay. Let's see here. Lo-fi songs. Changing the past would mean everything in the future would be different as well. Maybe the server would have died without the backdoors, although that seems impossible with an Anarchy server. I don't know about the dying without the backdoor part. I do know that it would have died without Rusher, but as I already said, avoiding the Rusher war would be impossible. That involves too many outside events that I have no control over. I mean, I suppose it's like, some people's wet dream to prevent the Rusher war or whatever. But realistically, that is just not, it's not going to happen. You're ultimately only one person, no matter what you do or think or try. There's always a point where you could go farther back to affect more. But regardless, you are only ever going to just be one person. So ultimately, your ability to change things is very, very heavily limited. Way more than people are willing to admit. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, whoops. There we go. It's just more of a, you know, yes, you'd be able to change some things, but I guarantee you there's always going to be something you're not capable of changing. Inevitably, you know, the limited power of man is just, it is an inevitability. Okay, I'm liking how this is looking. You just got to accept that there's always going to be something you can't change, or something you can't do. Even if you could travel through time and live forever, I imagine that just would mean you'd have an infinite list of things you would like to change, and it would never truly be finished. But it's a cool idea, I suppose. There we go. Oh, one final backside to get. Copy and then flip. And that's that. Okay. I'm liking that. Now I want to copy this. Let me see. Can I get away with every 3 blocks? Will that add up? Will the pattern be preserved? Who knows? When is Pop Bob coming back? Probably never. I don't know. I don't keep up with Pop Bob. What do I think about Fit's recent coverage of exploits? It's fair. He did a great job on no comms. He's getting to the point where he's begun to milk no comms, and in my opinion, the teat is running dry. Okay, good. So I can do every 3. All right, cool. But hey, you know, what can you do? No, not enough. Let's do 14. Still not enough. 16. There we go. The corners of the right are different. Maybe. That may have been a difference born out of necessity and less because I need it to be perfectly symmetrical. Like, it can't be perfectly symmetrical. That's just kind of the nature of the footprint that I made. But, you know, give it a shot. Okay, cool. Jack, what would your base tier list be? I guess the top 5 in no particular order. Sea Spire, the Drain, Space Valk 3, Mew, and this is in no particular order. Yeah, I don't know. What was another really impactful base I've been at? Gosh, I don't know. Maybe You know, I want to say Space Jam, but in all honesty, Space Jam was just more of a lark than anything else. It was not a serious base. But all those other bases I mentioned were. So I don't know. The 3 Space Valks, the Drain. Yeah, I guess I'll do Space Jam just because it was fun. Mew, because it was so beautiful. And I'm sure there were others. Another base I really liked was Doc Smurf's. What was the one? It was the Frozen Dragon. Oh, what was the name of that one? It was Niflheim or Niflheim. Something like that, Heim. Those are pretty well the my favorite bases. Imagine 3D printing Space Falcon on a 1 to 10 scale. Oh, I know. Oof. Do I think Fit has become as clickbaity? I think Fit has to do that to keep his channel growth up, because otherwise he will stagnate and then he will lose his livelihood. Because if you don't get people regularly watching, YouTube kind of puts you in a hole. And it doesn't give a shit about you, basically. And I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm in that hole myself. So if you want any sort of, decent income, you kind of have to be clickbaity. That is a very much YouTube-y kind of mindset you have to have. And if you don't, well, some people can get away without doing clickbaity shit, some can't. Just is what it is. I mean, if it's clickbait, just don't watch it. Like, when he covered no-coms properly, it was one of the best vids Fit has made in literally years. And when he does a base tour, and it's respectful and it's interesting, and the base in question is really well laid out, yeah, that's good stuff. But at the same time, there's only so much quality in the world. You're just going to have to deal with the fact that, pumping out videos and making this, making that, like, you are very much a slave to it. So I don't know. It's a bit of a necessary evil. It doesn't make it less evil. It just kind of have to try and see it from the person in question's perspective. It ain't easy being green. So yeah. What is the purpose of this building? It is a villager trading hall. The base with the giant tree covered by glass. Yeah, that was Niflheim. It was made mostly of ice and stuff. That was really beautiful because I hadn't seen ice used that way before. Not to that level. The dragon was just like the cherry on top. But what else? The drain. I just absolutely loved the concept for the drain. It really is just a shame that we never really got to make it, to finish it. But hey, that happens. So many bases, I'm sure, never got their proper justice of being finished. But yeah, that's also why I want to touch up the original Space Valkyria just to give it a better, more refined flourish. Because, you know, we've had like 7 or 8 updates. Or hell no, probably more than that. Oh man, we've probably had almost a dozen updates since I built Space Valk 1. And so there's just so much that I'd like to do to it. I wouldn't want to like change it to where it's unrecognizable or try to rebrand it as something else. Just, you know, update it with the much needed, better, more distinct palette and greater detail. Just because like everybody is so enamored with it. But at the same time, it's such a plain looking build when I look back on it. It's not that I don't like Space Valk, just that well, it's rough around the edges. It's not the sort of thing you think of. But yeah, the original Space Valk is very rough around the edges. I'm going to just copy this all down, the whole cloth. Do I know the stat command? Yeah. Sometimes I don't care to do the stat command. I don't know. There's a beauty to placing a block by hand sometimes. Sometimes. It just depends. You know, you get in your moods. You want to do stuff your way. Maybe not necessarily the most efficient way, but... Oh. Poop. I just deleted a bunch without meaning to. There we are. Did I get to see imps before it was griefed? Yeah, I did. But, it wasn't that amazing, I hate to say. Imps was a very soulless base. It had cool shit at it, but none of it was finished. And a lot of the insides were just kind of empty. And that's just not, like... That's just bad design, you know? I'm very much a fan of, hey, if you're going to build it right. There we go. Got a decent amount of light on it. Alright, let's go on a little tour as I wrap out the stream for today. I'll populate it, put villagers in there, and spruce it up more internally at a later date. This is more just because the building itself needed to be made. So it's got three floors of trading stalls here. Well, each sort of wing, or they kind of look like tines on a fork. Each little tine will have a bunch of villagers contained in it, you know, for trading and all stuff like that. You'll be able to get every villager of every type, everything that you could ever want, etc., etc. There are going to be more of some villagers than others. Like, for example, how many Fletchers do you realistically need? Probably not that many. But conversely, you might want a bunch of toolsmiths, you might want a bunch of librarians, you might want a bunch of this, that, the other. You get the idea. So there's all this. The idea is you want to make anything possible that can be made here. Because this is where you're going to be getting most of your junk, is from villager trading. Like, you got these automated pistons in here that harvest pumpkin and melon. You got the farmers and the vegetable harvesters, you know. I still have to put in a reliable method to get them to throw items to each other, but eventually I'll get to that. Items get collected, and you just kind of... I don't think this thing's ever even collected anything. You know, come to think of it, I want to see if this thing even works. I meant to make this not work on a button. I'll do the rest of the tour in a bit. Wow. It's fun watching it cascade up and pop all the... Yeah, just like that. So all the items wash into the central filter, or the central collection. Wash around here, get pushed up into the water streams, and they go. And they sit up there. Shit. Ah, okay, it's a still water source, no wonder. I've got to make a way to make it not so still. Oh well, whatever. And so you'll gather all this junk up, go in and sell it. There will be a selling wing, a buying wing, you know. The idea of the entire base is that you'll be able to make anything you could ever want, and you'll have access to just about anything you could ever want. So that it is a functional, you know, self-sufficient base of massive scale. Obviously, villager trading is very important to that. Oh, excuse me. And so you have that option here. It's pretty much all this place is. This is the Iron Works, which I made a short about, you know, spent about a stream and a half. Oh, damn it. Little bastards. Oh, there needs to be a better way to keep them from piling up here. Yeah, it's called Don't Use Chains. As cool as chains look, they're just... They are not good enough. What's a good block? I guess glass. Yeah, I guess glass. Light blue stained glass. So yeah, the Iron Works is... It's a pretty straightforward little place. Villagers here get frightened by a zombie. Zombies are named after people, just for the fun of it. Lord Baddock, Pancho Hamster, and Kurzizi? I don't know. Hope I said that name right. So the villagers will spawn iron golems, do their thing. Golems die, get their shit pushed here. They wrap around this building and into a very large... Huh? Oh. Oh, yeah, wow. So for some reason, even in spectator mode, the wand still works. There we go. Oh, wow. This thing's been busy. So we know that works. Over here was just a sort of radio tower that was built on a whim. It looked good. Haven't really done anything with it, though. Just sort of gave it this internal design and not much else. So who knows, I might be changing that at some point. This is the Sea Spire, or, well, an inspired version of it. Changed around to make it more fancy looking. For those of you who don't know, this base was once out on an ocean, and I stumbled across it by accident many, many years ago. I was given the coords, and I came in, explored it, said, hell yeah, I'll take it. The original owner abandoned it, and I lived in it for many years before it was griefed. And then I just kind of immortalized it here. And yeah, there's really not much to say about this whole place. Like, it just looks majestic, but I haven't really been able to give it a good, I wanted to turn it into a restaurant. I still am at a loss as to how to do that. Like, maybe have a villager or two, a butcher, perhaps. I don't know, pent up somewhere in here. Like a villager locked away here or standing here, and they sell meat, cooked meat, sell food. Maybe a farmer as well. And then put some tables and chairs out, around here. There's a beautiful little garden. I like how the garden turned out. It looks beautiful. It has another little internal garden, because why not? I'm a sucker for those, in case you haven't noticed. I love me a garden. Gardens are what make Minecraft so interesting. It makes a build feel 20 times more alive if there is a garden, or like even this, just like a little sort of topiary looking thing. That's all you need sometimes. Let's see now, before I go too far. This is a giant clock. It's for show, it's not really a clock. But it's a giant Big Ben style digital clock. This is a giant block of apartments that you can apartmentize. This was a sort of a food court slash vending machine area. The vending machines are just going to have like various items. They're all going to be map arts, obviously. Just cool stuff. This place was inspired by a Japanese vending machine park. And it's just kind of, a thing that I wanted to make, because I wanted to go to that vending machine park for a while now, but I'm probably not ever going to get that chance, so I don't know. Who knows? This is one of the first large-scale houses that I ever made on the disc. It's, it's just a little fancy house. Cozy AF. It's got all the little trappings in it, even a game room. I gotta remember to not look in certain directions because of the frame rate. It's got arcade machines with Donkey Kong, Galaga, a dartboard, actual fucking pool, alcohol, books, a water dispenser that was a pain in the ass to make, a keg, in case you want to do that, a rec room for watching the non-existent television, and even a bathroom where you can wash your dirty ass. It's great. Bedroom and everything. Please don't blow up. Okay, good. So you can't interact with those. Okay. This is a giant library. One of the first things I built was, or the very first thing I built was this place. And yeah, it was just kind of whatever. It's got a little internal water elevator system. You can go up and down to all the floors. It's got a nice little tiered system where there are bookshelves everywhere. You can sit and read books on lecterns. It's even got a little decorative reflecting pool here. More shelves, more storage, more books. Books, books, books. I like the library. It really turned out nice. And then out here, got a nice little fancy house, another one. I made this one somewhat more recent. Oh, that's right. The disc, the water highway, has lots of these little guys in there. Also named after various people, just because. Fancy house has fancy things in it because it's a fancy house. I gotta like slow down a teensy bit. There we go. Fancy bed, fancy attic, fancy sort of landing way. Candles on lightning rods. This looks so cool. Like, there's just something so interesting about this. Like, I'm 99% certain Mojang did not expect this to be the result when they added both candles and lightning rods, but God, it works. Oh. Oh, who donated? Oh dear. The name didn't... Oh, there you are, Jean-Not. A Duke of Wellington. Maybe. I'll remember that as a name for another thing some other day. Well, thank you for another donation, Super Jean-Not. I didn't expect you to do that. You didn't have to. Yeah, it's $2, but it's the thought that counts. You know? And then in here, ooh, this giant fancy-looking building. What on earth could I put in here? It is, in fact, a den of sin. Gambling house. Ooh. You got your fuzzy craps, your roulette wheel, your, I believe this is blackjack, and lots of slots. Some dirty slots. I think this is like a money changer machine. I forget. We made it just because it looked cool. Ah, and then the topmost level, pool. More pool than you can shake a pool stick at. And darts. Lots of fancy ass darts. Ah, and in here, yes, in here is where I grow the abomination that lives in the depths. A giant living coral. It's a beautiful creature. It's very red. It reminds me, funny enough, of Red Brinstar from Super Metroid. If you've ever seen or played that game, you know what I'm talking about. More water tubes. Now this is a fancy building that I made a while ago that I never really gave much use to. It's still empty. I need to figure out what I want to do with it. It's just sort of like got a Space Needle inspired look to it. Goes all the way up to the build height. Not much else. Same for this. This is just filled with water. Goes up to the build height. Connects to the underwater highway. Oh, Exotic Bunny had one. Yes, yes. This is the ore refinery where ores are shipped in. I've got to put something on this lower level. But, you know, precious metals, minerals, materials, etc. are pushed in here, refined, messed with, etc. I forget what I was going to do up here. Washing, that's right. You wash the ores. Turn them from their dirty version into their better than not dirty version. Grinding and processing goes here. And then if I recall correctly, this was like storage, I want to say. So I've got to like move this machine up here. And so yeah, this is just sort of like a mining facility, kind of. This was an art gallery that I've kind of not done anything with. But I need to, but I'm too lazy to. I really do like this internal area. It's got a nice structure to it. The rib cage of leaves. That's what everybody said it looked like when I was making it. There's not really much else to this building. This is a nice sort of gazebo park walk-through thing that's hella overgrown. And speaking of, here's another one that's also hella overgrown. But this is more of a fancy art installation with a little minecart track. You'll be able to ride minecarts everywhere eventually. That brings us to the bank. And inside the bank, we can do banking things. Like gawk at money. And talk to the manager, who has a glow squid, I believe. Yeah. He's still around. Nah. I think that was a person's name. I don't remember. Oh yeah, I made a fancy map art for him. I forgot about that. Isn't that beautiful? Play some tabletop games together sometimes. I'm not really a tabletop fan. Do I have a list of finished empty buildings, or I just remember them all for now? There aren't that many of them is why, so I don't have to really remember too much. Can't wait to get the world download. Yeah, being here in virtual reality. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, that's going to be something. And speaking of virtual reality, this is a fancy place where you will be able to eventually cycle through virtual reality, sort of like holodeck. Sort of like a holodeck styled excursion, basically. I plan to make all the Mario levels much like this one. And just kind of, you know, do whatever. Just fun shit. Oh wow, I forgot there was so little. There's no space, or there's empty space up here. I gotta do something with that. And see now, what's left, what's left. This is the house from the first short. It's just so tiny compared to everything else. It's easy to overlook. But I like how it turned out. Then you've got the convenience store, which is not really filled with anything yet, but one day should be. This was another house. It's mostly empty. Might put some stuff in here eventually. I don't know. I might leave some of these places empty and let people decide for themselves if they want to build like their own little internal area. I don't know. I don't know that I should. Like I don't want to leave any stone or any space untouched. But I don't know. Maybe some level of personalization isn't a bad idea. And then this is these four buildings. There's one in every cardinal direction. It's a basically just a tram station or a minecart station. You'll be able to ride, you know, around in the tunnels. Pretty straightforward stuff. You have access to these water tubes. These water tubes also go literally everywhere. And yeah, it's just, that's unfortunately where most everything ends. And the rest is just empty space. And I'm going to fill it up. I promise. It's just going to take a year, at least a year. And there's just no getting around that. This was the power generator, yeah. The giant sort of massive dynamo thing. It just looks really fancy. Obviously doesn't do anything. But you get the idea. I might put something more in here, I might not. Just depends. And then we've got more of this. So yeah, we're not even 50% done covering the disc in buildings. Because there's so much empty space here, here. There's like nothing in between here. Although, to be fair, there isn't a whole lot of room for like a big factory building like these. Maybe I could do a little, you know, like these, over here, what are they? These, here they are. These little, you know, creative sort of topiary type park bench setups. I could probably sprinkle a few of those throughout here. That wouldn't be too bad. But I really don't have room for a whole lot here. Come on, load in. Not finished, load in. There we go. And then there's the outer ice ring where you can get on a boat and just zoom down the ring, and good luck with that. Boat icing is really, or ice boating or whatever, is really annoyingly difficult. And then these are the main 4 airlocks, which just sort of let you out into the big bad end dimension as a whole. And then under we have this massive flotation ring array that keeps the whole thing aloft. And then everything leads back internally to Rainbow Road, which is another sort of circumnavigable road. These areas, this area in here, was a private bedroom area that I was going to make for everybody who was living here at the time. But, I don't know, that plan kind of fell apart. And then you can see the central pillar from here. You can see all sorts of things. And then the water elevators take you up to the top. And yeah, that's pretty well it. You just kind of walk through this sky bridge area and don't look down. Don't look down. You are hovering over nothing. Could you imagine if I had to fill in all of this too? Could you imagine how many years that would add on to the project? I don't even know what I would put here, like in between. I just don't know. Anyway, so this is the animal ring where animals are stored. The damn sheep have almost eaten everything out of House and Home again. Another one of the water tube things. This one connects you directly to the central aquarium. And this is a more zoomed out map of the entire place. And this is a more zoomed in map of the entire place. It's huge. The glass covering the outer disc is just... I'll remove it one day when I've got all the shit affixed to where I want it to be. And then I'll go and update everything to make it match. And then I'll put the glass back over it all so that you don't, you know, you don't have to worry about that. And then we have the disc park itself. The central gem of Space Valkyria 3. And then the Aurora Borealis topping it all off. I would love nothing more than to be able to lift this section, just the Aurora, just to be able to push it up a good 40 or 50 blocks so that it's actually above everything and that you can look up and gaze up at it. But like, I don't know. I don't know that Mojang's ever going to give us that. Flying vehicle? We have Elytra. If boat fly is ever a thing, you know, maybe someday. And then this was a giant storage area that I've not really done anything with. This is like the main bridge, I guess. You can teleport in from the mainland, and this is where you will land. And then there's a quick exit portal that'll take you straight out of the end. Whoops. Yeah, that'll take you back to spawn in the overworld, which is just a stone beach. Nothing really fancy there. And yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking that's about it, really. So yeah, I liked it. I plan on putting a lot more care and thought and effort into this whole place. I know I hate to say it, it's going to be a year. It's going to be about a year or more before this place is truly ready to be released. So stick around, tell your friends, don't let people pass this wonderful place by. Because, I mean, it's just amazing. Whoops. It's an amazing build, it really is. Oh, so yeah. I'm gonna let it all... That'd be the end of it here today. Y'all take care. Thank y'all so much for coming out. Probably remove all the colored glass with the command. Oh, well, no, I don't want to remove it. I wanted to move it up. 3:30 a.m. you should go to sleep. Oh, yeah, dude, I'm so sorry for keeping you up. Space Valk 2 was the best? I don't know about that. So, yeah, I will catch y'all later. Some other day. Well, Wednesday, I mean. My, schedule's on the community tab, you know. Y'all know where to look for it. But yeah, that'll be it. Thank y'all so much for coming out. Thank y'all to those who donated. And I will catch y'all Wednesday, same time, same bat channel. Take care. Bye-bye.